Maryam Monsef was a darling of the left in Canada. The Trudeau government sold her to the Canadian public as the ultimate refugee success story. She was praised as Canada's first Afghan-born minister, and she was quickly promoted into Justin Trudeau's inner circle. She escaped the Taliban, she fled the horrors of the Middle East, and she ended up as a young leader in her community in Canada. Even US President Barack Obama praised Maryam Monsef and singled her out. Not for any of her accomplishments or anything specifically that she had done, but simply because of her identity as a young woman and a former refugee from Afghanistan. Well, we've now learned that much of that refugee success story was simply untrue. Monsef wasn't born in a village in Afghanistan, but in a modern Western hospital in Iran. Seriously, look, it looks like a palace. She wasn't raised in war-torn Afghanistan. She actually spent much of her early life comfortably in Mashhad, Iran. And far from fleeing persecution and failing to receive protection in the region, we've learned that Monsef has frequently returned to Iran and Afghanistan as an adult. There has been a lot of new information uncovered about Maryam Monsef. There's been lots of twists and turns in the story, and unfortunately, much of the news is being ignored by the mainstream media. But I've been following it every step of the way. I've been writing about Monsef's story 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times a week for over a month now. Liberal activists and leftist journalists have criticized me for even chasing this story. I've been called every name in the book, a racist, a bigot, a birther, and an Islamophobe, just for having the gall to ask tough but fair questions of Maryam Monsef. They think it's racist for a journalist to get the truth from a public official, simply because that public official is a former refugee. Well, I don't care what they think, and I think that you deserve the truth. Their attempted smear campaign has not stopped me from breaking story after story in the pages of the Toronto Sun and other Sun newspapers. Look, there's a lot more to come on this story, and I'm going to keep you informed. But for now, I thought I would give you a timeline of Maryam Monsef's life, her birthplace controversy, and her very strange connections with both Iran and Afghanistan. November 7, 1984. Maryam Monsef was born in the Imam Reza Hospital in Mashhad, Iran. She claims that as an Afghan refugee, she holds no legal status in Iran. November 7, 1985, the day that Monsef originally claimed that she was born in Herat, Afghanistan. January 1988, Monsef's father is killed in a raid near the Afghanistan-Iranian border. 1993, Monsef, her mother, and her 2 sisters moved from Mashhad, Iran, back to Herat, Afghanistan. Then in 1996, the family flees Afghanistan, travels to Mashhad, Iran, and then on to Pakistan and Jordan before getting on a plane and flying to Montreal. Once in Canada, the family asks for asylum, and they're eventually granted refugee status and then Canadian citizenship. 2000, the Monsef family, her mother and her 2 sisters, all officially file for a name change to the Government of Ontario. They shorten the family name from Monsefzadeh to Monsef. June 4th, 2010. One day after graduating from university, Monsef travels to Iran and then Afghanistan. December 2013. Monsef returns to Iran once again, although she states that her intended destination is Afghanistan. According to a profile in Le Devoir, Monsef had a job waiting for her in Afghanistan. She sold her furniture, she gave up her apartment in Peterborough so she could permanently move to Afghanistan. She claims that when she got there it wasn't safe for her, so instead she stayed for 2 months in Iran. We later learned that she traveled to Afghanistan using a passport from Afghanistan and a religious pilgrimage visa from Iran. Now, remember that Canadian passport holders could no longer travel to Iran at that point without a special permit because Iran and Canada cut their diplomatic ties with each other in 2012. So that's why Monsef used her Afghan passport and a special religious visa to get into Iran. It isn't clear why she went to Iran at all if her intended destination was Afghanistan. Remember that as an asylum seeker, her claim was that she was not safe in Iran. It's also worth noting that when I asked Monsef's office to explain how and why she traveled to Iran, one of the world's most regressive and closed countries, well, it took them 11 days to respond. 11 days. In the fall of 2014, Monsef says she was inspired by this time in Iran and working with refugees, so she decided to return to Canada and run for public office. She unsuccessfully ran for mayor of Peterborough, finishing in a close second. In May 2015, Maryam Monsef wins the Liberal nomination in Peterborough and becomes the candidate for the Liberal Party in that riding. Then in October 2015, Maryam Monsef is elected alongside the Trudeau Liberals and becomes the Member of Parliament for Peterborough-Kawartha in Ontario. In November 2015, Monsef is appointed into Justin Trudeau's cabinet. She's screened and vetted by CSIS and the RCMP, likely given top-secret Level 3 security clearance. She's also heralded as the first Afghan-born cabinet minister in Canadian history. January 2016, Monsef is praised by US President Barack Obama as the ultimate refugee success story.
And we see the refugees who feel that they have a special duty to give back and seize the opportunity of a new life. Like the girl who fled Afghanistan by donkey and camel and jet plane, and who remembers being greeted in this country by helping hands and the sound of robins singing. And today she serves in this chamber and in the cabinet because Canada is her home.
In June 2016, Monsef did this interview with Bob Fife on CTV Question Period.
So you were born in Afghanistan, correct?
I believe I was.
That's a bit weird, right? Well, it turns out it was a bit of foreshadowing, because in September of 2016, a Globe and Mail investigation led by that same journalist, Bob Fife, revealed that Monsef was born in Iran, not Afghanistan. Monsef claims that her mother misled her, that she just never knew the truth, and that she was now taking steps to rectify this error. Her office confirmed with me via email that her passport lists Herat, Afghanistan as her place of birth. Now, we know that passport information is required to match the information on a citizenship application. So it's very likely that if a mistake appears in her passport, the mistake was also made when Monsef applied for immigration and citizenship into Canada. In September 2016, the BC Civil Liberties Association filed a lawsuit against the Trudeau Liberals for revoking citizenship without a hearing. Activists claim that Monsef could have her citizenship revoked under the current law as it's being imposed by the Trudeau government. This is the current law for citizenship revocation, by the way. The Citizenship Act provides that a person's citizenship may be revoked if the person obtains, retains, renounces, or resumes citizenship by either false representation, fraud, or knowingly concealing material circumstances. We also know that Trudeau himself has defended this law. October 2016, Liberal Immigration Minister John McCallum openly muses about putting a moratorium on citizenship revocation in a way that would just happen to protect Maryam Monsef if it was revealed that she has committed citizenship fraud. October 2016, a CBC investigation finds that the Liberals have revoked citizenship at a much higher rate than Harper's Conservatives ever did. We also learned about a 19-year-old Concordia University student who has recently had her citizenship revoked by the Trudeau government because her parents allegedly lied on her citizenship application. October 2016, The Sun exclusively reports that a file has been opened inside the Government of Canada to investigate Maryam Monsef for citizenship fraud. We don't know if this investigation is a priority to the Department of Immigration. We just know that CBSA has a legal obligation to investigate breaches to the Citizenship Act, and that such an investigation has been opened on Maryam Monsef. Now, we don't know if this investigation is going to be taken seriously by the government. After all, can we really trust a Liberal cabinet minister to investigate another Liberal cabinet minister for citizenship fraud? Well, I don't know, but I, for one, will be keeping a very close eye on that investigation. For the Rebel.media, I'm Candice Malcolm. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I want to know what you think, so please leave a comment in the comment section below or click one of these links for more Rebel content.